Yo, let's make something. Now, I would call myself adept at making action figure like things out of pipe cleaners, but this whole statue like thing is kind of new to me. So, if it turns out horrible, hey, well then we're cooked. Anyway, I start by making the chest, and to do that, we make this sort of oval like shape, but I have no idea what I'm doing. And so, yeah, I just do whatever comes naturally. I then do some knots with the pipe cleaners so I can try and hold everything together, but as I soon turn out, this whole project is going to become very, how should I put this? Not very structurally sound, but it's alright, because I'll figure something out. After a little bit longer than I would have liked, I finally made the top half of Bro's body, but now we need to make the actual body part, like his stomach. So let's get to that, yeah? I then make a similar shape to the top half of the body, and after an abrupt cut, I will then have finished this part of the body. So, yep, now we have sort of the general torso shape laid out. So now we can sort of focus on something else, you know? So, yeah, let's do it. And I guess since I'm here, might as well talk about the mic on the corner. That's just, I don't even have a name for it. I mean, if you want to name it, just comment it down below or something. I don't know, but let's move on. Next, I decided to make some thighs for our dude, so you know we could sort of balance the weight, but that turns out to fail miserably. So yeah. And look at that, he's actually kind of starting to come together a little bit. Off screen, I then connect the top half of the body to the bottom with some more pipe cleaner, and then I decide to actually start to fill in these legs. And if you're wondering why there's like weird like light going on the corner as well, that's because I'm watching YouTube while I'm doing this. I'm doing this for hours, you know. I have to have at least something, you know. After a long and arduous journey, I finally made one leg. So now I have to make the other. And yeah, this took much longer than I thought. But hey, I'm new. I'll probably figure out some sort of way to shorten this time or something. I've got to figure out something, man. Jeez, and this was just the start. It was only going to get harder and harder from here. Then if you actually look at the Dead Cells guy, you can sort of see that on his pants there's sort of like a little pattern, sorta. So I try to make that very loosely, because this is just falling off the rails at this point. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just trying to loosely make the pants kind of look at least like they have the style, you know? And there we go. I then tried to make the legs connect to the waist, but it took me a little while to figure that out, so yeah. But on the bright side, I kind of knew what I was doing. I kind of knew what sort of pose I wanted him to be in. I then figured that if I just throw a whole bunch of pipe cleaners around the waist, that'll fix it and make it look good. And I will use this principle later on, so keep that in the back of your head. Oh, and I guess I didn't connect the top yet, so now I will do it. I also made a simple leg outline, once again with the circle at the top and the sort of foot at the bottom. But it's more of like a 2D structure because I didn't really know what I was doing, but after I doubled it using my special copying machine, I then tried to figure out how I will make it 3D. And yeah, that's how. I then wrapped an exorbitant amount of purple pipe cleaner around these 2D legs to make them look 3D, and I sort of came up with a look that I like. I also decided to sort of patch up the top of the legs because the way I wanted to position this guy, you sort of had to see the top of the legs, you know? And after finally a good deal of time, I've figured out a way to sort of put the legs on there in a way that's, you know, not gonna completely destroy the structure. and it sort of self-centers itself, so I don't have to figure out a way to balance it, but that goes down the drain later on, so it's good while it lasts, you know. Now at this point I'm running fairly low on purple pipe cleaner, so I ordered some extra and I'm really hoping it comes soon so I can finish up this model, you know. But while I still got some left, I'll try and make the arms. Using the same arm technique from earlier, I then sort of do what I sort of did with the legs, except make it slimmer, because, you know, his arms are kind of slim if you actually look at it. I then double this creation again, so now we can actually make a full arm, and at this point I try to sort of decide how I want to make the arms. After I've made my Terminator alien two-finger hands, we can now put them on Bobby the Beheaded, because yep, his name is Bobby. People like to call him Bobby, I will call him Bobby. I then spent some time actually making the arms look like arms a bit and not like alien fingers. And here we are, the end product is still the same, they still look like alien fingers. Absolutely wonderful. So now we sort of have the robotic angle that I want him to be in, sort of in pain. But that's besides the point. After this little section, we've made both of the arms, and it's time to put them on. Now that he is writhing in pain, I am writhing in pain because I have run out of purple pipe cleaners. What am I going to do? Turns out investing in a luck build really pays off, because I just got the package with my purple pipe cleaner, so now I can actually put on the arms and make the hands. However, there is still a problem that you will see in a second. Anyway, I made the sort of outline with the hands. I wanted him to have a sort of 5-finger touch, much like the average human, and I decided to try and fill it in somehow. The problem is that the purple that I ordered is a completely different shade than the body purple that I had, so I'll try and remedy this later, but for now, it kind of looks a little weird. Now that we have the sort of general body fixed, I want to make the arm wraps and leg wraps that he has on his body. I then sort of do this by getting a handful of white pipe cleaners and wrapping it around his legs and arms until I feel satisfactory with it. And yeah, here's my remedy. Let's just pretend that the arm wraps are just cutting off circulation to his hands. I'm sure that'll be fine. He is now fully bandaged up, so before I forget, let me go ahead and make his little scarf, I guess. And this scarf took me out, man. It was a massacre. I had no idea what I was doing. I was throwing all the pipe cleaners I could at it, man. Eventually, I settled on this doable design. I was tired of it at this point. I just wanted to move on to something else. And yeah, I just decided to make his little arm plate. I make the shoulder plate by making a very big pinwheel, like a very big circle. And then on the edges, I fill it with black pipe cleaner and call it a day. I really think he's coming together at this point, and so now it's time for Bobby's biggest point, which is his flaming head, or whatever his head is made out of. To make his head, I get different hues of pink because A, I'm not going to use pink anywhere else, and B, because it fits his hair color. And so you make his head and just collage it all into one big piece. While I do collage it all into one big piece, I do so with finesse. I start by making a sort of ball, and then I expand upon it with more and more paint. But yeah, this thing was crazy to make, by far the most crazy part. But I just sort of went with the flow, you know? That's what you gotta do in life. You gotta go with the flow, and sometimes it'll come out with something, you know, semi-decent. Now that we've got our beautiful fire face, it's time to actually give him an eye. As usual, I make this sort of white circle as his main eye, and then the black will come later as a pupil. I then decide to make him to the sort of heart shape to show that he's angry, because Bobby's facial expressions all come from his eyes, so I'm kind of hoping we can get some sort of, anger in there. And he looks pretty angry to me, not gonna lie. I then connect his head to his body, and that's basically it. That's how I made him. But the problem is he's not standing up on his own, so I'm gonna give him a little bit of help with that. Of course, by help I mean pierce his body with a mace. To do this, I made a sort of black ball, which I will then spike up and then make a sort of handle, which I can then pierce through the back side of him so that, he stands up on it. After a little bit of off-screen magic, he is now pierced through with the mace. Look at that. So yeah, I'll finish off that little back piece of the scarf, and with that, I think that's pretty good. So I'll go ahead and end it. So, congratulations, you made it to the end, bro. We made it. We made Bobby Dead Cells. And, yeah. I don't know how many times I said, yeah, on this video, man. I said it so many times, and I cut so many of those out, too. But, we made it. And all I gotta say is, if you like it, if you're feeling good, why don't you go ahead and, tickle the thumbs up button and the subscribe button. I don't know. And if you want to see, maybe like those action figure like pipe cleaners as well that I showed you at the beginning of the video, hey, all you gotta do, comment it. I will do it. Comment what video game characters do you want me to make out of pipe cleaner, and I will try my best to make them. And I feel good on this one. It's my first episode, I don't really know what else to say, I'm just kind of stalling this out, just us bros, yeah. Yeah, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed, or Bobby will get you.